Hello and welcome to another episode of Live Feed with your host, Richard Santiago. Live Feed is brought to you by Traveling Tech Teacher for all your digital resources. Check out travelingtechteacher.com. Also brought to you by thebullyexposed.com, a 501c3 nonprofit organization geared at helping survivors of bullying. So let them help you. And they want to remind you to check out their YouTube channel at Nonfiction Filmmaker. Nonfiction Filmmaker. Be sure to check out their channel. Paulo, how you doing, Paulo? We've been getting a lot of people joining our the YouTube channel, and that's great. We need some more of you to get on there and join some more. But we thank you for the ones that have done it. We do appreciate it a lot. SK, thank you for joining the show. We really do appreciate that. Some of you may know we are creating some awesome yoga videos on there with our yoga expert, E.C. Kelly. And our yoga show, our yoga show is called Yoga Revolution. If you have not checked it out, please go do check it out. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, share it with your friends, and subscribe. So we're thinking that, we want you guys to go on there and check out our yoga, but we really haven't talked about what are the benefits of yoga. We talked about what the benefits of aerial yoga were, but we have not yet talked about the benefits of regular type yoga. So let's go on and let's do that. And then we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So let's hit that up first. So here we go. 8 benefits of yoga, guys. All right. So number 8, it promotes self-care. For me, I will admit that I'm more aware and I think more about my self-care since I started yoga. So when we wrote this, I would have to say, yoga promotes self-care. It does promote self-care for me when it comes to learning yoga. Number 7, yoga helps you manage stress. I remember when I was being bullied by the United States Postal Service, and people were telling me to get into meditation, and meditation helped me a lot. Then after I left the United States Postal Service, I started getting into yoga, and that took my ability to manage my stress up to a whole new level. And it worked great. It worked great with the meditation that I was already doing. So number 7 definitely is something that works for me. Number 6, yoga can mean more energy and brighter moods. I'm going to be fair and say that whenever you do any kind of exercise, the benefits of it is more energy, and your mood is better. So I'm not going to really sit here and tell you guys that you're only going to get that from yoga. Will you get it more from yoga? Probably. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you're only going to get more energy and brighter mood from yoga. It's really funny how you think, well, if you're exercising, you're going to be tired, so you're going to have less energy to do stuff. But the more that you work your body out, the more that it wants more of that. It's just like your animals, right? Thank you for smashing that heart. And you, if you're watching this live or recorded, please smash that heart just like SK did. It's just one of those weird things that the more you push your body, the more energy or the more it wants to be pushed. It's sort of like an animal, you when you show an animal discipline, they want more discipline and more discipline and more discipline. I think it works along the same ways. So let's see, number 5, yoga relaxes you and helps you sleep better. Um, since I would have to say a combination of meditation and yoga. With a combination of meditation and yoga, I have been able to relax and sleep better. So, yeah, definitely. Uh, Yoga benefits heart health. Benefits heart health. Sorry about that, guys. Um, I think when you do yoga, you add a positive stress. Just using the word stress, just for lack of words here. But you add a beneficial stress to your body that allows you to really think about your heart and where your heart is at that moment and all the time. So let's see what else we got here. Number 3, yoga can ease um, arthritis symptoms. Um, I know, along with eating well, for me, yoga does not really seem to help me with my arthritis. It's more eating that has helped me with that. But I know that when you stretch your body out like you do yoga, stretch your spine and all that, that helps with arthritis. So, yeah, I'm gonna say that is a system. I think this is one of the benefits that worked for me without me really realizing it. Okay, number 2, yoga helps with back pain. Definitely. You guys know, before yoga, I really suffered from a lot of back pain, and this has really been able. Yoga has been really able to help me with that by always keeping my back limber and always keeping my back stretched out, not stressed out. When you don't exercise, and then one day you decide to maybe lift something. It could be just lifting a bowling ball. You're giving your back stress that it's never experienced in a long time. Not that it's never experienced it before, but hasn't experienced it in a bad time. And I think that's why a lot of people have back pain, because they do just that. They sit around all day long, and then they go and do something, like I said, like maybe go bowling one day, and they just throw their whole back out because their back is not used to that kind of exercise. So that's why it's good to do yoga and always keep your back limber. So before we get to the number 1 benefit of yoga, I want to remind you guys that live feed is brought to you by Traveling Tech Teacher for your digital resources and the BullyExposed.com, 501c3 nonprofit organization that reminds you to go check out and subscribe to their YouTube channel and Nonfiction Filmmaker. We hope you've done it, so if you haven't, head over right now and get that done. Okay, so the number 1 benefit of yoga, in our opinion here, is yoga improves strength, balance, and flexibility. And that is so true. It's really funny how it helps you out with your strength, because it's like something. All of these things are something that just kind of sneak up on you, and you don't realize that you have this benefit. And then all of a sudden, you wake up and boom, you have the benefit of strength. Balance. I know that some moves that I couldn't do on one leg in the beginning, I'm able to do now. So I definitely feel the balance. And as far as the flexibility, I know that there was times where I couldn't touch my toes, and now I can touch my toes. So definitely has helped me out and all that. So let's go through that one more time. The 8 benefits of yoga. It promotes better health, better self-care, yoga helps you manage stress. Number 6, yoga can mean more energy and better mood. Number 5, yoga relaxes you to help you sleep better. Number 4, yoga benefits heart health. Number 3, yoga can ease arthritis systems. Number 2, yoga helps with back pain relief. And number 1 benefit from yoga helps improves strength and balance and flexibility. So, I hope you guys are going to our YouTube channel, checking out our series that we call Yoga Revolution, and checking our videos out. There's a video there for you guys. Even if you want to just work out for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, there is a video for you. So please check it out. Please subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell so you're notified every time a new episode of the Yoga Revolution comes out. All right, and I want to thank E.C. Kelly for working with me on these awesome episodes. So we did have a question from SK. Thank you, SK, for waiting so patiently for your answer. Yeah, guys, sometimes if I'm in the middle of a countdown, I'm definitely going to wait till the end to answer your questions, okay? So topic is open right now for wherever you guys want to talk about. If you have an idea, please put it in the comments right now, or send it to me as if you're watching this live as a Q&A. So SK says that Naho guy who's the bully I told you about made 7 different accounts to message me, and he sent me and reheating to slit my throat. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm very sorry that happened to you. I definitely hope that you are blocking all those accounts that he made and reporting them. What can we do? We got idiots out there, unfortunately, and I know someone's going to tell me why you shouldn't use words like what I just used, but, that the shoe fits, right? I don't know what to say there. But, hopefully he will learn when you block him not to seek you out anymore for any type of bullying. He's from the Middle East, SK says, because of the language he speaks, I can tell. Oh, okay. So you seen a video with him? Is that how you know how he speaks? Or has he left you audio messages? So yeah, we just gotta learn to ignore these kind of guys. When we engage with them, that's when they're gonna turn around and try very hard. That's when they get satisfaction, pretty much, when we engage with them, unfortunately. So we definitely have to learn to just separate ourselves from them and not engage with them in any way. Because anything you do, unfortunately, with these types of people, anything you do sparks them off, because their lives are just so, I don't know what word to use, but their lives, you fill in the blank. Their lives are just so blank that anything we do will make them happy, because they just want any kind of attention whatsoever. So just block them. Let that be the attention you give them. Because when you block them and they have to create another name, they're definitely going to move on to somebody else, because that's not the kind of person they want to engage with, because they want someone that's going to get mad, or someone that's going to write to them and tell them, something rude or mean or whatever. Real Young Blue's in the house. The song you're hearing was created by Real Young Blue. Check his music out on his Instagram page at Real Young Blue. So what's going on, Young Blue? It's been a long time since we talked. So SK, I'm always looking for you to give me the heads up on what's happening with the Yanks So, so let's go. While I'm waiting for you to tell me, let's see. I forgot to tell you that the Milwaukee Bucks won the NBA Finals. Oh, is they the one that won? Okay, yeah. When I was in the States, I saw that they were actually playing. So I was wondering who won that. Milwaukee Bucks. They beat the Suns, right? If I remember correctly. Let's see. Bucks NBA Finals. Doesn't really say, but it's yeah, Suns. Okay. So game 4 they won 109 to 103. Game 5 the Bucks won again 119 123. Game 4 the Suns lost. Wow, they just really easy. Not really a sweep, right? Let's see. It's not really a sweep, but man, they did real good. So SK says the Yankees are 51 and 47 now. Okay, they're trying to creep up. They're doing better than they did before. That's good. Glad to hear that. I mean, when I was in the States, man, they were playing horrible. And I'm so glad that I didn't have a chance to watch a game. I had so many people that I wanted to visit. I didn't want to sit down and watch a baseball game on TV, unfortunately. I would have loved it because I haven't seen a game in a long time since I've been living outside of the U.S., but what can you do? You don't want to get back into that and then have to move away and then not be able to get in, see it at all. So it's probably best not to start it all. Let me, one thing I didn't do in the beginning of the show is tell a few people that we're out here live. So let's see if we can get a few people here. We get Gavin. We'll tell Gavin, and I can't find Pico, so I'm just gonna have to leave it like that. So we told Gavin and Tully and see what happens. So what else has been happening with sports, SK? I really enjoy talking with you about sports. Really brings me back to the days when I used to watch sports a lot. United Martial Arts, thank you for joining the show. Let's see maybe if I could bring up. That's what I think I'll do with you, SK. I think what I'm going to do is bring up a show on WFAN, and then we'll talk about that.
Too fast. Why did you ever sit the other guy down? If you have two guys up in the bullpen, and you decide, okay, we're going to use this one, the other guy's got to at least hang in there and realize that if the first runner gets on, you're up next, so let's go. And there's so few Mariano Rivera's, and the longer we are removed from Mariano's career, the more we are reminded of that.
Yeah, I'm glad that he brought up, before we get copy striked by playing anymore, I'm glad he brought up Mariano Rivera. I was in upstate New York a couple of years ago, and I wore a shirt that said, "One more legend, one Mo legend, M-O." And the O was a pinstripe baseball that said 42 on it. People, they weren't upset at me, but they were very concerned that I would wear a shirt like that. And it's really sad that people see a shirt of Jackie Robinson or see a shirt of anybody that wears 42 that might remind them of Jackie Robinson and think that that's controversial. That's what they said to me. They said, "Wow, I can't believe that you're wearing that controversial shirt." When people see shirts that might remind them of some type of civil rights thing. I don't think controversial should be the word that comes to their minds. That's my opinion, and it's a shame. It really tells you where their head is at. It should not be controversial. It should be, that's an awesome shirt. That's the guy that integrated baseball. Awesome. To me, when you tell me that if I wear a shirt like that, like the one I spoke of, and you feel it's controversial, to me that tells me where your head's at. Why is the man who integrated baseball controversial? Shouldn't everybody be able to play on the same field? Shouldn't everybody be able to be equal? That tells me that this is not what people want, equality. It shouldn't have to be, a league for blacks, a league for Hispanic, a league for Asians. I'm not saying that there are any of these. There was just a league for blacks, from my understanding. There should not be leagues like that. Everyone should play together. I honestly would love to see a day where, at least for baseball, where we don't look at anything. That there's a men and women's league. I would love to see that. Now, I am in no way saying that women, like, we can't do that with football or with basketball. I am not saying that. I'm just don't know if a woman would want to play on a team, a co-ed team, basketball or co-ed football team. But, we should not, if there is a girl, or a woman, I should say, excuse me, who wants to play in the NBA or in the NFL, let her go. Let her go at it. Let her go at it. I know, what's his name? Bugsy. I can't remember his last name. Bugsy was only like 5'8", and he played in professional basketball. So why can't a woman play in professional basketball? If a woman is 7 feet tall, she's got to be stronger than Bugsy was. Let me see. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name right. I hope I don't got his name wrong. NBA. Let's see. Help me out, SK. You remember that player? Musley Bowens. That's the guy I'm thinking of. Let's see. He's the shortest player to ever play in the NBA. So 5'3". Excuse me, I thought he was 5'8". He's 5'3". So I'm taller than him, and he was able to play. So there's no way that a woman is 7 feet tall, or even as long as she's taller than 5'3", be able to play in the NBA. That's the way I look at it. Let's see. SK says the Yankees bullpen blew a 4-0 lead against the Red Sox today. Oh God. Thank you for the bad news. Horrible. Jose Tudiv played in the mob. Oh, in the MLB, sorry, and he's only 5'6". Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that there could be a day when we're not looking at race in playing sports, and we're not looking at sex in playing sports. And even now in baseball, I can't remember the guy's name, but I think he was a Yankee, so maybe you could help me, SK. He had only one hand. His other hand, he didn't have a hand. And I believe he would pitch the ball, hold the glove, pitch the ball, and then put the glove on after he pitched the ball, I believe is what he did. And so there you go. You have a person that I don't know if that's handy capable. I don't know what the exact category is. I hope I don't insult anyone. Tully's in the house. What's up, Tully? Shaquem Griffin. All right, let me look that person up because I do not know who that is. Let's see here. How you doing, Tully? So glad you can join us. So we're talking sports right now. Um, so anything you can tell? What do you think about women playing in professional sports? You think that would be something that would pick up in in um, in the UK? I mean, excuse me, not the UK, Australia. He played in all the NFL, and he only has one hand. Oh shit! All right, let's look at Shaquem. Yeah, only has one hand. He's right. Played an American football linebacker. Played for Miami. And his twin brother plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And both brothers played college for Central Florida. Interesting. Well, there you go. Well, I think they're called handy capable. And again, if I insulted anyone, I apologize. That's not my intent. If someone wants to school me on what the proper word is, I have no problem with saying that I'm kind of ignorant in this in this subject of what to call them. But there you go. There's someone that you brought up in the NFL, and the person I'm trying to think who the person was. SK, if you could help me with that, that would be great. Let's see, NBA player. MLB player. MLB pitcher. Let me do that. MLB pitcher. Who has one hand? Who has one hand? And I know he's a Yankee or he played for the Yankees. Jim Albert. And sorry guys, but I'm gonna be. Oh, we were born the same year, me and this guy. Awesome. Did you already come up with that name? No, I don't remember him. Okay, yeah, Jim Albert. I remember when he played for the Yankees. Let me see if I can remember. He used to hold the mitt in this hand, and I think like kind of hold the ball there, and then put the mitt in the hand. He didn't have a hand, so put the mitt in there, grab the ball, and then pitch. If I remember. But yeah, awesome. Let's see who he played for. Let's see. He played for the California Angels, White Sox, Brewers, and the Yankees. So yeah. All right, and we were born the same year. Very interesting. Never knew that. Yeah, it's a very popular. Oh, it's very popular. It says Tully over here. Women AFL. Aussie Rules Football. Now, when you say football, I know that's not the same as in America. What, when you say football, do you mean rugby? Or do you mean what we call soccer in America? Is that what you mean by that? Would be very interesting to know. So let's see. And SK says, Jean Carlo. What's up with Giancarlo? What about him? I believe he has all his hands and fingers and still is a horrible player. Or at least he's playing horrible for us. And what's the word on him? Oh, didn't they trade him? Didn't the Yankees trade him? Let's see. Let's see. We can see what we got. Doesn't say if he's been traded, but I thought he was traded. No, it's not soccer. Okay, it's not soccer. So what is Aussie Rules Football or AFL? What kind of sport is that? I know it's hard to kind of tell me over text, but if you could possibly try to explain what that is, that I would be very interested. Oh, let's see. SK says no. He still plays. Okay, he still plays. He's decent. Yeah, he's decent. It's just every time that I saw him, he choked. I don't get to watch a lot of games of the Yankees. But maybe 2 years ago, when he first came on, or whenever it was that he first came to the Yankees, I was still able to watch a few games, even though I lived outside of the U.S. And the ones that I saw, he choked, and I was just so pissed. His batting average is 259. Okay, 16 home runs. Okay, well, I stand corrected. I apologize, Giancarlo. Uh, I just hope we all get it together. I do hope that whatever it takes, the Yankees get it together. Um, because we used to always be in the playoffs. We used to always be in the World Series, and I think 2009. Correct me if I'm wrong. SK was the last time we won a pennant. Let's see. He's not terrible, but he's not amazing. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. He's about 7'10". When you say 7'10", you mean height? 7 feet 10 inches? Because if he is, damn, that is tall. Holy cow! Let's see if I can find it on here. I'm on his IMDb. It says he's 6 feet 6 inches. So no, that's not what you mean by 7'10". Yes. Look at you, SK. Got the knowledge. Smash that heart, everyone, for SK, whether you're watching this live or recorded version. SK is on it, on it. He says, yes, 2019 versus the Phillies. And let's see how good you are. I'm going to test you on your knowledge. What was the series? The Yankees won, but by how many games did they win in the series? Oh, wait. No, I meant I would rank him 7-10 on a scale from 1 to 10. Okay. Do you remember what the series was at? How many games the Yankees won against the Phillies? And for those of you that are wondering, that's Philadelphia Phillies. So SK, we don't want to, Tully, we don't want to leave you out. Tell us some more about Australian sports out there. So you think that the women's, let me see, what did you say? The women's NFL is very popular out there, huh? Look at this. This guy is smart. They won in 6, and they won 4 games to 2 against Philadelphia. This guy's knowledge. I have an uncle who's that same way. He can tell you. You ask him, he can tell you what happened with the Yankees, when, what, who, and all that great stuff. So, Giancarlo Stanton bats right and throws right. At the time of July 25th, what did you say? Let's see how close you came according. I realize it may change. You said his batting average is 2.59. According to Wikipedia, as July 25th, 2021, his average is 267. So it kind of went up. And let's see, he's got 1,235 hits. And I guess these are career. Career, he's got 328. Runs batted in, 842. That's pretty good. And he debuted with the Mariners on July 8th, 2010. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I wanted to hear what Tully has to say too. Okay, awesome. So we're all sitting here, Tully, waiting to hear the great. You talk about sports in Australia. All right, let's give a listen. Some more.
Of that, and under that scenario, under that guise, you must manage that way. You must be ready. Next guy has got to be ready to go. You can't get one guy ready, hand him the game, and then wait for him to get in trouble, and then get a guy up. It's too late then. And he's seen that already. Is he growing in this job or not? He's already seen that. What waiting too long can do. And he just keeps doing it. It's insanity. Alan in New Hyde Park, next up on the map.
All right, that's Chris Moore on WFAN. As you guys know, when I lived in New York, not so much now, I would admit. When I lived in New York, I used to love to listen to WFAN on my drive to work. If you know anything about New York, pretty much if you're taking a car, even if you're taking the bus, you got an hour to almost anywhere. So I used to love to listen to WFAN all the time while I'm going through there. And then when I moved to Vegas, that was it. No more listening to WFAN. And then when the internet got really big, I'd say somewhere around 2000. I'm sorry. No. I would say about 92, sometime in 1992, the internet got a little big and they created their website. And on the website, you can listen live to the station. And then when smartphones became a thing, then you can listen on your smartphone. And I loved it when that happened because I used to get up at 7 o'clock for work at the Postal Service. I can tell you this now. For 12 years, I did this. I get up early. I got to be at work sometimes 7, sometimes 8, depends on the station. And I would listen to WFAN. So at 7 o'clock, it was 10 o'clock at WFAN. And my boy Joe and Evan would come on, and I enjoyed just listening to them while I was setting up my route. Let's see. Nothing is worse than the New York traffic, says SK. Yes. Man. That's why I say New York is beautiful to me. I was telling this to somebody yesterday. One of my other followers on the show. I mean, not on the show. I'm sorry. In a DM or something. I don't know if it was in the comments or a DM. New York is definitely one of the top 5. Now, I'm not saying that it's number 1. I'm not saying that it's number 5. I'm just saying that somewhere between 1 and 5, New York sits there, along with other countries, other cities of the world. Definitely for me. But the one thing that I dislike is traffic. It can take you, if you go at 3 o'clock in the morning, it could probably take you 20 minutes to get somewhere. You go during rush hour and it could take you an hour. So a 20-minute ride becomes an hour, easy, in the middle of the day, and that's horrible. Let's see, SK says that he hates the Red Sox with a passion. Who doesn't, dude? Who doesn't? And they're doing so terrible against them. I know these Red Sox fans got some big hits going on. And it appears that we lost, and that's a shame. We lost Tully. Either he must be at work or we just have a bad connection. That's a shame because I would really love for him to talk more about sports in his country of Australia. So let's see if we can find some Evan Roberts, some of Evan Roberts' stuff, because I love him. Unfortunately, he's paired up with that buffoon Carlton. I'm sorry, but he is. He went and created a Ponzi scheme and gets his job right back. What can you say? Privilege. There's privilege right there, and it's simple, plain and simple privilege that you're able to do such a crime like create a Ponzi scheme and get your job right back the minute you come out of prison. Shame. Let's see, Evan Roberts. So now we all have to put up with Evan Roberts. With Carlton. In order to listen to Evan Roberts, which is a shame. And hopefully, if the folks down at WFAN have any brains, they'll know not to pair him up. I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it. If Carlton was a black man, a Hispanic man, I'm sorry, he would have never got a chance to be back on WFAN. I believe that WFAN would have gave him the chance. I'm not knocking WFAN. I believe that they would have gave him the chance to come back on, but I just think that the racist followers, and they're awesome. I've been listening for years, and sometimes some people get on and they don't come out and just say the N word, but they kind of hide it and mask it in the words that they say. That's for sure. Let's see, we got we got a Q&A. Thank you for starting the Q&A, SK. Barack Obama was my favorite president of all time. Awesome. Glad to hear that. He also goes on, SK also goes on to say, I think that the New York is the greatest city in the world. Yes, definitely the greatest city of the world. And I'm learning. I'm seeing different cities now where I live, and you know, it's getting. I will admit, it's getting harder to say New York is the greatest city in the world because of all the other cities I've visited. I can't wait to get to Paris. I can't wait to get to London, and stuff like that. You know, so we'll see. So let's listen to some Joe and Evan here. We gotta be very careful. Just have to play a short little piece because if not, then we get copy striked, and we don't want that. And it appears that it's not going to start. So we'll keep talking while we're waiting for this thing to come on. One thing that I really don't like about racist people when it comes to sports is that whenever there's a fight in basketball, all right, people are always so quick to say, you see, basketball players are animals, blah, blah, blah. But yet there's a fight all the time in hockey, and it's considered part of the game. And fighting is not considered part of a game. It's a sports game. It's not considered. But in hockey, it is considered because racist people have the right to, you know, express themselves any way they want. That's the only thing you could think of. When there should be no fighting in any sport. You know, I love hockey. I never was on a team, but I know I would play with some of my friends, the hockey, and it just what got me was the dirtiness of it. You know, people hitting your hands with a stick. Mr. H2O Flow, thank you for joining the show. Smash that heart, whether you're watching this live or recorded. Show us some love. So that really got boring when it came to playing hockey, all the dirtiness of it. So let's see. There we go. I don't have it all, so let me see if I can go back. In my lifetime, I voted Democrat and Republican, but I've voted Democrat more. Awesome. That's a good thing to hear. So Mr. H2O Flow, love that name. Are you into sports? All right, let's give a listen to, unfortunately, Carton, but let's give a listen to Joe. Roberts. So they're definitely talking about what you were saying earlier, SK, that the losses by Boston, we have to get that fixed. I'm sorry, but we have to get that fixed. We have to start figuring out what we are doing wrong, what Boston is doing right, and put a stop on that. Because we can't be losing to Boston. We definitely cannot. All right, let's jump ahead a bit, about 10 minutes, and see what they're talking about now.
And I would hope Aaron Boone recognized last night. Brooks Kriske last night had nothing. So despite striking out J.D. Martinez, you had a way to get this guess because I felt it in the moment, even though I was watching the game 3 hours on delay. But still, for me, a first guess.
Sophia 80, thank you for joining the show.
I wish Boone was on today because I got major issues with some of the things he decided, including he had an escape path to get Kriski's ass out of the game. Yeah. All he had to do was put up 4 fingers and say, "Put Renfro on first. Let me rescue this poor guy." Right. And he didn't do it, Craig. And got an issue with that? Because I do. I do have an issue with that. And it's funny. I forgot that when you walk a guy intentionally nowadays, you don't have to throw the ball. Because I think he might have thrown a wild pitch on the intentional walk. Very fair to say. And I admittedly forgot about that rule. So I wasn't yelling about the non-walk there. But I will tell you about a particular player, not named Kriski, who I got a problem with. On the New York Yankees? On the New York Yankees. Let me guess. Do you pronounce exactly what his name is? You pronounce his first name incorrectly. Yeah. So everyone wants to talk about the 8th inning, end of the bat, single that gives them the 2-1 lead. Okay, listen, I don't take it away from him. Base hit to base hit. He got a base hit. They scored a run on it. Yep. I know the answer is yes. Did you happen to see the 10th inning at bat? Yes. Were you watching it closely? Yes. Was there a strike thrown? Was there a ball? Let me ask you a better question. He did.
So you know what game they're talking about, SK? Because I don't. So Mr. H2O2 is our good friend. Let's see, where did I see that at? I'm sorry, I lost it. Yeah, Fire Aaron Boone. Yes, you're right. Oh, it's Johnny, 5%. Got a new name, huh? Mr. H2O Flow. I like that. You always got some unique, awesome names. Even though I did like the mutant one. And Sophia H80. So I don't know. Is that your wife? Is that or just a friend? But Mr. Flo says, "What's up, Sophia H80?" So I don't know if you guys are into sports. We're talking sports today because SK likes to talk about sports. We're both Yankee lovers. Tell us what teams you like. Tell us what you think about women. That one day we will have an all-inclusive sport. Whether you're, handy capable, whether you're a female, doesn't matter about color. None of that. We'll all be able to play on one NBA, one MLB, one National Hockey League. That would be great. That would be great. I think it would do so much for women, young girls, to be able to grow up and have a favorite player that's that's female. I think would be so great. It's important. People don't understand. It's important to see ourselves reflected that way. To see ourselves in the media. No matter what you're into, no matter who you are, I think it's important to see that for sure in reflected that way. I think it does a lot for everyone. So if you're a person that maybe you were born or had an accident, had to have your hand removed, and you see this player playing as well, that does so much for people that have to deal with that, because they're being pulled down every day, and they can get that strength from these favorite plays, and there's girls out there that love sports. I know girls that can tell you more about sports than I can tell you, and it's good for them to see themselves reflected. Like I can remember on WFAN when their broadcasters were becoming females. They were hiring females, and I can't remember. I had one lady that I used to love to listen to. I can't remember her name. I don't think I'm even going to try and look it up. I was going to try and look it up, but I don't think I should. It's going to take me a long time to find it. But, and when she came on, people were just downing her, and you could tell that they were just being mean to her just because she was a female, not because of something she might have said. If I'm a female broadcaster and I say that the Yankees stink, and you want to give me crap for that, I'm cool with that. But to give me crap for something that you probably would have agreed with if a man had said it, that's stupid. And I think that's stupid game that some people play, unfortunately. Let's see. I hate the Astros too because they cheated. They cheated. Did you read about that? Did they cheat again recently? Now I know they cheated. No, was it the Astros? Houston, yeah, it was Houston. I know they cheated a couple of years back, but I didn't know if they did it again. So is this new or is this old? Because I do remember the old. Do you remember that what you were doing the day 9/11 happened? Wow, good question. Thank you for that question. That's a great question. I was living in Las Vegas, and to be honest, I thought that it was all a hoax. I didn't see any of the buildings coming down. I didn't see any of that. Um, and So when I first heard about it, I thought it was a hoax. I thought somebody was just starting a rumor or something. But I was at work. I didn't get out of work. If I remember correctly, on the East Coast, it happened at 8 o'clock, I want to say, when I found out, and and I didn't get out of work till 3. And then someone put on a TV, and that's when I saw it. That's when I saw what had happened, and I knew, wait a minute, this isn't no hoax. This is for real. The first thing I thought about was I know that I have family members that work in there in those buildings, so I was fearful for them. But and some people might think this is very terrible of me, but I decided that I was just gonna go on working and not find out if any of my family members were in that, and then after I got off work, then call family members and make sure that everyone's okay. Because I don't think back then Facebook. Maybe I'm wrong, but I was never. In fact, I'm not a Facebook person. The only reason why I even have Facebook is to connect with other filmmakers. I don't have Facebook. I didn't get Facebook to connect with family and friends and for any of that. Sorry, family members. I know my family members are probably like, "What? That's some bullshit." But yeah, it's true. I got it to be able to connect with other filmmakers, to connect with actresses and people that do sound and films and all this, so that we can get together and show each other's work, so that we can get together and talk and maybe, hey, I need a cameraman for this day. Can you help me out? That kind of thing. But for me, it wasn't something to do. Like, oh, let me get my friends and let me get people on and do Facebook. So I can't. I'm gonna say that Facebook was around but I wasn't so into it at that time like I am now. So I knew that I couldn't just go to Facebook and ask a cousin like I would do now. I would go to Facebook and DM my cousin and, "Are you okay? I know you work at the World Trade Center." That's what I would have done. So I couldn't do that back then because I don't think I was into it that much. Let's see. SK says he was 6 years old. Oh wow, that's crazy. And for you to remember that, I guess it's a big traumatic event, because I'm trying to think that anything happened when I was 6 that would equal. I mean nothing will equal with 9/11, but I mean that could be a tragedy like that. So he goes on to say it happened, and I remember sitting in my house hearing the loud boom of the planes crashing because I was still living in New York then. Okay, and when you say New York, of course you mean the city. I'm assuming that's how us New Yorkers talk. Um, wow, yeah, that must have. I know that 6 months after 9/11, I went to New York. We went to the World Trade Center, and had my camera, and I took a bunch of shots. And shame on me. I wasn't really good. I wish that I was, but I wasn't really good at keeping track of my photos. Um, because, and I guess it's because I've always had a job in photography at that time, and they would keep track of my photos. But for me, like when I did the 9/11, yeah, I was doing, when I took photos of 9/11, the aftermath of 9/11, 6 months later, I did it for work. It wasn't one of these things where I got paid. I did it and hoped that the people I was working for would take it and do something with it, and they did. So I didn't keep track of those pictures, but boy, I wish I did. I really, 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 really wish I did. Um, but I'm better at it now. I'm definitely better at it now. I save all my stuff now. But back then, because the companies I work for did it for me, I didn't do it for my personal self, and I should, because I have photos that I can't find now, and that's a shame, and that's bad on my part. So see, I'm not perfect, guys. Let's see. SK said I saw the building on fire. The building on fire in person. Wow. How far were you living from the World Trade Center? Oh, now this talk is getting deep now, and you know, yeah. How far were you living from the World Trade Center? I would assume you lived uptown somewhere, 5 miles away. Oh, wow. So no, you didn't live uptown then. I don't think that's considered uptown. Wow, that's crazy. 6 years old, and you can remember that. Like I said, that's a big event. I'm sure if that happened to me, like, let's put it this way: I was not born when JFK was assassinated, or Martin Luther King was assassinated, or Malcolm X was assassinated. But I can remember at a young age living in the Bronx where we would celebrate their deaths when either when it was their birthday or when it was the anniversary of their death. I could remember at 7, 6 years old, probably even 5 years old, being at the rec center of the projects where I lived, and they would be blaring the speeches of Malcolm X or the speeches of MLK, and for hours, like literally do all his famous ones back to back to back on both those people that I mentioned. And I could remember that, being in the park and listening to it over the speakers, and wow, just it just was eerie. It just was amazing to I as a kid, I thought it was live. I didn't think it was a recorded version. I thought it was live. Books That Sold. Dr. V is in the house. Thank you for joining us, Dr. V. Smash that heart, whether you're watching this live or recorded version. We're talking, Dr. V, and I would really love to know, what do you remember? Where were you when 9/11 occurred? That's what we're talking about now. We started with benefits of yoga, and now that's what we moved up to. And I was telling, SK told us about when he was 6 years old, he could remember the buildings and the sounds of what was going on in 9/11. And I told him that I don't think I remember what tragic event happened in 1967 when I was born. I think that's something I should look up. What tragic event happened? Let's see. What tragic event happened in USA history on 1967? 67. Let's see what we can find. So, but Vietnam War was going on when I was born. So I could remember when my uncle, on my mother's side, youngest uncle, went to Vietnam, and unfortunately, his life was expired, to put it nicely. And I could remember his uniform being brought back to us from the, I believe he was in the Air Force, from the Air Force commander, and my grandmother putting it up in the living room. She lived in a very small projects, and she put it up, not in the living room, I'm sorry, in the kitchen. She put up his uniform in the kitchen, and that image is something that I remember as a kid. And then I went on to tell that I remember living in the Bronx on the birthdays and the anniversary, assassination dates of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, where they would play all his speeches throughout the whole day, throughout the whole projects on these loudspeakers. And as a kid, I thought it was them really speaking, you know. And then I learned later on that it was just recordings because unfortunately, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King were already passed on. I think one of them was 64, I mean, and the other is 1963, I want to say, or 65. So when I was born by 63, they already have been passed on 3 to 5 years. So Dr. V says, I was 1 week away from giving birth to my daughter. Oh, okay. I gone to the hospital, but it was not time. She was born 1 week later. Okay, that's interesting. So yeah, as a parent, you're definitely going to remember something like that. Yeah, that's very interesting. How about, I don't, it's never proper to ask a woman her age. I don't want to ask you your age, but do you remember anything tragic when you were maybe 6 or 7 years old? But that's very interesting that when I was born, the Vietnam War, had started, or what does it say here? Let's see. And that, yeah, we just in the Vietnam War. That's about it. Okay, let's see. He's here. Okay, 1960. What is 1967 known for? Is the question. American troops increased further, and a total of 475,000 were serving in Vietnam, while and peace rallies were multiplying as the number of protesters against the war increased. Boxer Muhammad Ali was stripped of his boxing world championship for refusing to be inducted into the U.S. Army. So that's something that happened as I was a kid. Didn't know that. Wow, that's very interesting because I do know the story of not Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, originally called Cassius Clay, as some of you know. And then he joined the Muslim group, that same Muslim group that Malcolm X was involved in, and then he was asked to go to Vietnam, and it's against his religion, so he decided not to opt for that, and good for him. Good for him. And so that's very interesting. That happened the year I was born. Okay, let's see what else happened. He came down to game between. And in sports, Boston was playing the Twins on October 1st, 1967. So those are things that occurred the year I was born. Very interesting. And I thank you, SK, for asking that question and bringing that up because it made me think a lot. What was I doing when this all occurred? Very interesting. I think, I remember when 9/11 happened and this news broadcaster said that this is an event that we will never forget where we were. And it's true. There's just some events that we will never forget. Let's see. Without giving Dr. V's age away, because hey, that's not right. She says, as for me, 6 years old, that would be around 1965. Okay, so she's not too much older than me, when lots of racial tension was going on. Yeah, yeah. What city were you in when all this racial tension started? I often laugh because a lot of my friends overseas will always tell me, oh, so you were born and raised in New York. So you didn't experience a lot of racism growing up in New York, right? Because it's the North. Wrong, unfortunately. To me, New York is just as racist, unfortunately, as the South. It's just in New York, they just didn't come out, not all of the time, come out and I don't know. It was racism. I don't know how to explain it, but it was racism, but just as bad as the South. I guess it was more along. They wouldn't. You wouldn't know who the racist people were. Where in the South you knew because they would call you the N word or whatever right off the bat and have no problem with it. Where in New York, you really wouldn't find out, unfortunately, until it was too late. That's the way I look at it. So Dr. V says Houston. So more than likely, Dr. V grew up in Houston. All right. Let's see. SK is saying something, but I don't. How did it make you feel during 9/11, knowing your home city was under attack? Um, wow. Thank you. Good question. And SK also says the South is most racist place right now. Yeah, unfortunately. Um, I know that when I was a kid, I went to the Twin Towers as a kid, um, and knowing that I will not be able to do that with my son was very sad for me. I know that I remember thinking that not being able to take my daughter back, thinking to myself, well, I'm glad I took my daughter to the Twin Towers, um, is what I thought about when I saw those buildings coming down. And, you know, it's, and the sad part about it, I don't want to be, I don't want to make you guys think I'm like I'm conspiracy nut, because I'm not a conspiracy nut, but there are people that feel that 9/11 was an inside job, like they'll say. So I just hope that, usually 10, 20 years, or sometimes 50 years, it takes a while, you find out the truth about something. I saw documentaries on the death of JFK, and those truths are coming out now because people are those people are passing away and they don't want to take these things with them, so they kind of speak up about it. Um, I hope, I really do hope that in 50, whatever it may take years from now, we don't find out what some people are saying now, that Bush had something to do with it. And again, I'm not saying that's true. I'm simply saying what people are saying. I just hope that we find out later that that's not what's going on. SK says a lot of people think George Bush was under 9/11. There you go. Okay, you just said it too. But I think it wasn't. It wasn't. It was just a normal terrorist attack. I hope that's what we find out. Because for people that live on the East Coast, Jimmy Hoffa, that was a mystery for years. What happened to Jimmy Hoffa? You don't know who he was. He was the president of the Teamsters Union, I believe it's Teamsters Union in New York. Basically the East Coast. I believe he was in charge of all of the East Coast, and he all of a sudden disappeared one day. Nobody could find his body. And then most recently, the guy who actually pulled the trigger or was there was passing away, and he did not want to take this. He wanted to, get this off his chest, and they made a documentary about it, and I believe they made a movie about it as well. So now we learned the truth about that. So I think in time, the people who have the secrets don't want to take it with them. It's a shame that they kept quiet all this time, but I believe that some of them are probably keeping quiet for fear of their own lives being terminated, right? So they're not going to speak up. So if they're in situations where they're about to pass on, no one can hurt them. So they're going to speak up. And I think that's what's happening. And it's a shame that it has to be like that. I think the America has the power to protect these people and let them be able to talk and tell the truth, so we don't have to go on for decades living wondering what happened to certain people. But yeah, a lot of people would think Hillary was responsible for the Banzanzi attack in 2012. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, that's another one. We're gonna find out. Years from now, we're gonna find out. So yeah, man, that's a good talk today, guys. Great talk. As always, it's a pleasure when Dr. V comes on and helps us out. Helps us out. I like it. I like it when Dr. V helps us to understand what's in the mind of the bully. Those conversations I enjoy even more. But this is good too, to hear where Dr. V was during 9/11. Man, it's crazy. I believe MLK died in '64, if my memory serves me right. So Dr. V was only 1 year old. So there's no way she could remember any of that. REYK, Kai, thank you for joining the show. Dr. V says, take care, enjoy. I enjoy your show. Thank you, Dr. V, for stopping by and giving us some input as to where you were at during 9/11. There's events, just real quick to say that, assassination of JFK, assassination of Malcolm X, assassination of MLK. These are events that I'm sure if people were 19, born around those times, those are the events that you'll always remember what you were doing at those events, when those events occurred. But that's going to do it for me on this episode of Live Feed with yours, Richard Santiago. We started with the benefits of yoga, and we went all the way through sports, through CIA. So, I saw a video, SK, that says that the Italian mafia did it, not the CIA. So who knows? No one really knows. Hopefully, like I said, 50, 60 years from now, if it hasn't happened already, someone will create a documentary that would tell exactly what occurred. But in the documentary about Jimmy Hoffa, they feel that, that wasn't a documentary. In the movie. So we can't really go with what movies say because they're fiction. They're not nonfiction. But they say that in there, they say it was the Italian government because Kennedy was going to really hit hard the Italian mafia. So they're the ones that had it done. I don't know. But thank you guys for joining us. Like I said, we started with benefits. We went through sports, and then we went through 9/11. Thank you, SK, for bringing up those topics. Again, thank you, Dr. V. You guys should check out Dr. V at booksthatsoul.com. Check out her books. She does a blog that she's willing to take questions, guys. So if you want to know what's on her mind, I suggest getting on our blog and checking that out. I believe you can go to her Instagram channel and click on the link to get to our blog. So, Live Feed is brought to you by thebullyexposed.com, a 501c3 nonprofit organization geared at helping survivors of bullying. So, let them help you. Also, go to YouTube and subscribe to their YouTube channel and Nonfiction Filmmaker. Also brought to you by Traveling Tech Teacher for your digital resources. Check out travelingtechteacher.com. Remember, school's about to start. One more month or so. A few more days, and school's about to start for summer. Depending on what area you live in, you want to check out travelingtechteacher.com for their back to school specials. Remember, anyone can wear the crown. Anyone can be a hero. Be kind to one another. Be kind to yourselves. And have a great day. Bye.